Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK Journey video. In this video we're going to be going over the top Supreme Arena defenses I'm planning to run for this week on my main account as well as on the pay to win account. Okay, in the previous week we managed to finish in the top 20 every single calculation, but we didn't make it into the top 5 even a single time. We have 990 Supreme points, just to update you guys on that. And these are going to be the teams that we run. As always, there will be a formation ID in the lower left. You guys can copy that into your formations to easily get these teams. But I will talk about some replacements as we go through the team comps when we discuss them. Okay, team number 1 is going to be the tried and tested Iron Nuke team with Nero to take the enemy Lily May interruption. And this team, it is doing pretty well overall. And for people with limited options, this is like kind of one of the best teams that you can go for. As we have mentioned before, if you have Elsa built and she's around the same level of investment compared to Odie, you can replace Odie for Elsa on the same tile. That is really strong, and she synergizes more with the crowd controlling nuking strategy. However, my Odie is far more upgraded compared to Elsa, and that is why I'm running him. You need to run Nero or Brian to in front of the Iron on your team placement in order to take any enemy Lily May interruption. They can still counter this comp with Dunlinger, but yeah, I mean, you can't counter everything on defense. We're going to have Arden, who deals really high damage, especially with the overcharge spell as well. That gives him more energy to begin controlling the enemies more, getting off more ultimates, and he's going to have some damage converted to true damage. Almas is also going to convert some of Odie's damage into true damage. Overall, this is just a very solid team, but nothing new here. Basically, you guys have seen this many times before, and like we mentioned, you can replace Odie for Elsa. That is another good option, and if need be, you could even replace for something like Carolina, but it isn't as effective because her burst is kind of low at the beginning. Moving on to team number 2, this is the Bonnie Tassi Stroll combo, which we did last week as well. The only change I've made to it is we now have Thorin soul pacting the Bonnie rather than soul pacting the Tassi. And I'm not sure whether this is better, but there was just one thing I noticed is that when you have Tassi soul packed to Thorin and Thorin is on to his 3rd resurrection, then he's going to sap a lot of health from Tassi, and that can sometimes set her up for it to be killed more easily by the opponent. And Tassi is your solo potential at the end of the match. You want to have your Tassi ideally like even Paragon upgraded if possible, or plus 15 exclusive equipment, because then the more invested she is, the better solo potential she has at the end. And able to win your team the match. We have 30 faction talents of Wilders, and I think most people will have this. Wilder faction talents are one of the most powerful in Supreme Arena, if not the overall top performing one, and so that is usually the top priority. Also for AFK stages, they're helpful, so do get your Wilder faction talents as upgraded as you can. Now apart from that, we have Damien to heal. And we have Haywin. Haywin with her charms this season is really powerful because when she takes damage below 30% of her health, she's going to become invincible, and then she will be able to almost guaranteed get off her ultimate, giving you the healing and damage reduction, which is her major value in the fight. Damien can keep respawning himself. Thorin is difficult to remove. Basically, you're almost guaranteed to have the maximum uptime of your faction talent concealed effect, because none of your other allies should be dying here. Haywin, Damien, and then Thorin. Very difficult to kill. We have the Surging spell because that is going to give shield to the whole team and is good in stall-oriented comps. It's a really good PvP artifact. It also deals good damage to the opponent. As for the Infinite Front Mystery Retreat, this is the same effect as in the previous week, but I don't worry about it too much. Basically, the only thing that you can try to min-max regarding this effect is try to have range damage dealers if possible, because then you're not going to keep triggering this teleportation effect. But I don't really think like you have to worry too much about it. Just try to get a good team that will fit onto this map, and that is all you have to basically do. But this team did really well for me in the previous week, so I'm expecting good things from it again this week, and it is fairly free to play friendly. Okay, moving on to the final team. So this is a team Maulers plus Taline Lily May. If you don't have Taline, don't worry, just replace Taline for something like Vala, another damage dealer threat. Vala would be a good option, and I would recommend put Shakira on the tile and then have like Vala in front of the Brutus here, for example. Now, the reason why you're going to have Brutus in the back is in order to take any faction talents that the opponent, like Greyborn faction talents, they're going to go off onto the Brutus. If the opponent has a Bonnie, they're going to go off the debuff onto Brutus. All of that is better for you. Coco is protected, but she isn't in the rearmost position, so Brutus is going to be taking those annoying debuffs or effects So that is basically it. Coco is going to give damage reduction or try to give it to your team. Shakir is going to be difficult to kill. He's going to run up into the front, give damage reduction, hopefully even to your Tailene and Lilymay, but definitely to your Brutus. And we have the Storm Strike spell. This is a really powerful PvP artifact. You definitely want to be running it on one of your teams. In this team, I was actually running this towards the end of the week of Supreme Arena. The previous week, it was doing better than the Hypogean Celestial I was trying to test. That didn't end up even doing that well. And this is pretty free-to-play friendly because just ignore Tailene, you include Vala, for example, or another damage dealer, or basically any hero. You can have another support in here, you can throw Twins in here, Velka in here, whatever you have built instead of the Tailene. But the Molar core is Shakira, Brutus, and Coco, which a lot of people have pretty decently invested in, definitely Lilymay as well. So this is a good final basically team, and these are going to be the considered free-to-play formation IDs and what I'm running on my main account, but we did talk about the replacement for Tailene. So now guys, we're going to jump to the pay-to-win account, and then we're going to show you the teams over there. Okay guys, moving on to the pay-to-win teams, we have team number 1 is going to be our Graveborn Nuke involving Harak. Now unlike the previous week and how I've run it before, where we had Harak on the Lightforge tile, we now have Sylvina on it, and it is kind of because a couple of reasons. Number one is if we have Harak in the back over here, it is really awkward for him to enter into the fight. He usually is going to be delayed, and I wanted to have Harak in a position where he can more easily enter the fight. The other thing is that a lot of times people try to use Bonnie, or they try to have some debuff onto your rearmost hero, and it is going to be better if that goes off onto Sylvina, for example, as compared to the Harak. I think that is another advantage. And then the final advantage is that Sylvina charm effect this season is really about like a snowball type effect. If you can get a quick kill, you're going to retain onto these massive attack and haste buffs. And Lightforge is going to further buff up Sylvina's damage potential. And if she gets a kill with Lightforge, it refreshes the duration of the effect. And I think that if we can get a really quick kill with Sylvina, this is really powerful. And then the final thing is that she's hidden. I always like, if there's a hidden tile, try to have Sylvina on it, because then the opponent doesn't know what to expect. Now I know all it takes is they will attack 1 or 2 times, they'll figure it out where your Sylvina is. However, I think you can definitely catch people off guard the first few times that they attack you with this comp. We also have Siren, because basically as a 5th member of this team is really flexible. It kind of just wants to be some sort of support hero that offers something to the team. And I think Siren is a great option. Number one, he will deny the artifact of the opponent, which will give me time to begin trying to nuke the opponent and also have Harak get a kill. Because after Harak gets 1 kill, this team is going to snowball. Harak is going to carry you basically. But you need to get that first kill really quickly. That is essential with the Graveborn faction talents. The other thing is that Siren has the ability to control the enemies. He begins with 600 energy. He's going to be healing, getting healed from the Ludovic field at the beginning of the match. I think probably he is going to be able to survive and get off his ultimate, which is going to buy further time for your Harak to get a kill. Ludovic is a great healer here, so he definitely makes a lot of sense. And then finally we have Thorn to protect the Harak, which is really needed. Harak needs that additional protection if you're running the Graveborn faction talent tiles, to make sure that he can survive effectively. But definitely, I think this is a great team you can try. And honestly, this first team is not incredibly pay to win. It just is Harak and then these other heroes, which a lot of people have built up, especially if you did recruit for Siren. Okay, moving on to team number 2. Team number 2 is going to be the Tassi Tailene combo team, with the same heroes on the faction talent tiles as before, the Haywin and the Bonnie. But I like the positioning we have here, because Tassi is going to tank a bit of aggro of the opponent at the beginning of the match. That is going to charge up her energy more quickly. We also have Damien's Charms onto Tailene, making Tailene really tanky at the beginning, and energy on hit, so that maybe Tailene can get off an ultimate even before she dies for the first time. But again, Tailene is also kind of like a pseudo tank. She can take aggro from the opponent, and then she can revive herself and begin bursting them. Damien, now his charm effect this season is really interesting. The first time an ally casts the ultimate who is being buffed up by his effect, which is going to be Tailene here, it is going to stun the enemy for 3 seconds. That is why I wanted to have this effect on a Tailene rather than Tassi. Tassi is a good choice for it as well, but Tassi already puts the enemies to sleep. But Tailene doesn't have any crowd control on her ultimate, so I was like, we're going to get more value if we can get this Damien charm effect onto Tailene to get off the stun. And also, yeah, having these heroes all grouped up in the front it is really going to allow them to get the energy from the beginning of the match, begin bursting the opponent, and the comp has a lot of synergy because Bonnie will apply her debuff, Tailene will spread it by dealing magical damage, and then Tassi can solo at the end. This is a very difficult team to deal with. Even if you try to Cryonaya it, it isn't 100% at clearing this because Tassi has that solo potential at the end. And so overall, this is just a top performing team, and on offense, this team is really deadly, especially with the Storm Strike spell. You're going to be nuking opponents so quickly. This is a very strong team. Yeah, that is pretty much all there's to say about it. But like you guys saw from the free-to-play version, we're running basically the same team but Thorin rather than Tailene, and that can also work. Yeah, you don't need Tailene in this comp. Like Tassi and Bonnie are really the core I would consider, but if you have Tailene, then this is a great option. Okay, team number 3. Team number 3 is going to be our mixed match. Like, it's just a mix and match of the leftover heroes we had. I definitely wanted to run another Wilder faction talent, because I think they are the strongest faction talent, and I looked at my most upgraded Wilder heroes, Lily, Mei, Lenya, and then there were others like Iron, Arden, but they don't really fit in the comp very well. The reason I run for Almas is he can give true damage from his charm bonus, that's good, but the other thing is that he has a lot of survivability in his kit, because after taking lethal damage, he goes to the back, he begins recovering health. He is basically difficult to kill, and that is going to prolong the concealed duration of your allies on the faction tiles, which is really important for download protection Lenya. So in the previous week when I was running this team, it was getting some wins against Paragon 3, Paragon 4 players as well. So this is doing like fine. It isn't what I would consider an overall great synergy comp. It's kind of making use of the Paragon heroes and also the concept of having heroes off of the faction tiles who are really difficult to kill. Scarlet, of course, cannot be killed. Almas is going to be having that additional life almost. And Lily May is untargetable from the beginning of the battle. We have the Surging spell to give more shielding and protection for the team. Basically just to delay as long as possible the concealed state and allow Lenya and Diona to deal his damage. So overall, this is basically the team comp. I think it should be fine, and based on the options I had left of heroes, I do think this is one of the best I can run, because we do have Cryonaya on the account, but Cryonaya at Supreme Plus cannot compete at a Paragon 4 level. The people attacking me are Paragon 4 heroes, and that is why this is basically the thing. Depending on your rank in Supreme Arena, you can only actually really use a hero if it is up to like the Paragon tier you need. So for example, like let's say you're at a Paragon 2 level, then yeah, Supreme Plus Celestial Hypogeans can work at that level. But Supreme Plus regular normal faction heroes that have no Inspiration Intimidation, it isn't going to be a great choice unless it is a really game-changing core part of the comp having them. So that is really the thing. And like for this level of account, because Paragon 4 people are attacking me and we have Paragon 4 heroes, you have to make up your team of your limited to your Paragon 2 or above heroes basically, and even your Paragon 2 heroes you should pick that really fit the comp well, kind of like we have for Almas here. And that is the thing, like when you're crafting these comps, and just overall tip. But anyway guys, that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Good luck getting good rankings in Supreme Arena this week. And as always, you can make modifications to these teams based on the heroes you have, based on which heroes you have at Paragon. That is really important. But one thing I just want to actually end on, which is an important topic, and maybe I'll make another video about this, is that when you're doing a raid up recruitment hero, and it is like a PvP hero, you have to, rather than maybe getting 2 PvP heroes up to Supreme Plus or Paragon 1, it would be better to get 1 PvP hero up to Paragon 3, because that 1 hero will then actually be a great option added into your comms, and those like 2 heroes who are at a lower level of ascension might not actually be an upgrade to any of your comms. That is kind of the thing about like high level PvP. You need to over invest into hero to make it useful. And yeah, I don't really like that fact, but it is how the game is, and so I want to make another video about that in the future. But anyway guys, thank you for watching. That's going to be it for this one. If you guys are not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button. We're on the road to 20,000 subscribers. Let's hit it before the end of the season. Also guys, feel free to join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video, and I look forward to chatting with you guys there. But thank you guys for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.